don't know about you guys, but I just love it when our classic fairy tales are reimagined with a new twist. And that is exactly what Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs does for Snow White. The film, which is brought to us by Lionsgate, will be available to stream on September 18th and available to purchase on Blu-ray and DVD on September 22nd. I recently made a sponsored recipe for the film for Snow White's mini apple pies. Go ahead and check that out over on my blog. They are delicious and they are cute and perfect for fall. I also have an exciting and exclusive interview with the voice director for Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs, Tony Bancroft. You may recognize his name from a lot of our beloved Disney animated classics. He was the animator behind Pumbaa, Iago, Cogsworth, and he also co-directed Mulan. All of these wonderful Disney movies, and I had a chance to speak with him. I was geeking out just a little bit. It may have showed. But watch this interview with us. We talk about his role as a voice director and how he works with the actors and the actresses who are recording alone a lot of times. This film features the vocal talents for Chloë Grace Moretz, Sam Claflin, Gina Gershon, Patrick Warburton, Jim Rash. And I got to talk with Tony about what it was like working with them, how he got the right inflections and the character motivations in their vocal portrayals, which is super interesting and I think something we don't think a lot about when we watch movies. We also talk about his love for movies and classic fairy tales and why he likes the reimagining of Snow White in Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs. Let's take a look. Yeah, well, Tony, it is an honor to talk to you today. I'm a huge fan. I grew up watching all of your characters on screen, and I can't get rid of my VHS tapes even now. I do. I don't have a player, but I have the tapes. So put them away. Awesome. So it has been awesome. Watching your animation, I love it. And now here you are bringing another fairy tale reimagined back to life, but on the voice talent side of things. And I was just curious, from animation now as the voice director, what has that switch roles kind of been like for you, and any challenges or anything you love about this side of the production?
I love capturing the actors and their essence and working with them to create these characters. So for me, usually that on an animated film, that's usually just a very small part, right? And for me on this, I wasn't in charge of the direction of the movie or the art direction, although I love all those things, and I'm proud of the company and the director that produced this in Korea. They did such a great job, and I spent some time with them quite a bit to get an understanding of the characters they were developing that would happen during the development, so that I could do my job well to be able to craft the characters in the right direction and explain that to the actors. Because actors are standing in a room oftentimes by themselves, and not really understanding the energy of the scene. So for me as a voice director, I usually read the other parts against them so that they get a sense of how they're reacting and the timing of that. And that helps them with their energy level to keep that up, because it can be a grind. You're usually doing a recording for 4 hours.
Wow.
We get these actors in like 4-hour chunks, and that kind of a grueling day, just going over the same lines over and over again. So yeah, it can be tricky, but it's also a lot of fun, because I feel like this is where it starts for the characters that are going to be larger than life in animation.
Yeah, I'm curious too. We see it on screen, the perfect, clip that you chose, arrangement. How many takes do you do to get the right inflections and stuff? Like, how many times do you go over the same
It can be a lot. I mean, it's really not too different from like what you hear about on the live action set where they'll do take. And we do too, because we'll say, well, okay, we'll try this one with a little bit more energy, or try this one, let me know. I got to tell you, you're feeling a little bit more down than this because of what happened beforehand. And then they're like, oh, okay. Or, let's try this one more sarcastic. Maybe we want to get a sarcastic feel to this take. And it gives us options, just like a live action camera angles. We oftentimes will try different tones or different, ways into a line. And then in an editorial, we could even cut and splice lines together. But for the most part, it's really just being able to communicate with the actor in the moment of what you're looking for that really brings the most life
all
to
the voices
character.
I mean, Sam Claflin, Gina Gershon, Chloë Grace Moretz,
I really liked Jim Rash, who did Prince Average, or should I say
Average? That's right.
Is there a favorite character or actor that you worked with that just, you know, had the funniest recordings when you were working with them?
Well, I would probably say I was the one that I've worked with Patrick Warburton like 5 times now, and I was the one that suggested him to the directors and producers on this because they were looking for somebody for the Magic Mirror.
Yes.
And I said, "Oh, Patrick Warburton." I worked with him on Kronk, New Groove. I said he always delivers the funny, and so even though this is a darker role for him, he still adds such a warmth and a humor to it, and he was perfect for that. And I love working with him. So we always have a really good time in the room, as they say, when we're recording the dialogue. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff that didn't quite make it to the film, but it was a lot of fun in the moment.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to watch, and I can imagine there were a lot of fun behind the scenes moments.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so this is kind of switching to your past with animation a little bit, but I read in an interview, I was just curious, that you as a child loved The Great Mouse Detective, and that's kind of what maybe was your inspiration to get into animation. And is that really how you got into the field of movie making?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, it was comic strips. That's how I started. But because I thought there was some kind of like science or math involved with animation that was way over my head that I would never understand. Like how did he flipping these drawings and all these drawings come together and it makes a movie, and I just couldn't figure it out. So it wasn't until I was a little older and I saw A Great Mouse Detective, of the performances and the fun of the story, and I dug a little deeper and I started realizing, well, this is something that I could probably do. I think this is something I could figure out, and got hired by Disney, and the rest is history. But yeah, it started with that movie.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of the classics for sure. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs is certainly a fun take on Snow White. I'm curious, did you watch other versions of Snow White growing up? And like, was it an exciting tale for you to kind of put your part on as well?
Well, I mean, having been a Disney animator, we always look back at the original Snow White as being the very first animated feature, and it's a classic. And every animator has a certain fondness and love for that if you're a Disney animator, because it is the first. And I've always loved that story, and particularly the dwarves and the magic elements. It just adds so much. And I love what Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs, like you said, turn that well-known fairy tale on its toes. And it has a lot of different elements in there, but really fun comical moments where they kind of make fun of fairy tales too. So that's what I love.
Thank you so much for taking the time, Tony. It was great talking to you. Can't wait to see what you have in the works up next, and I can't wait to watch Red Shoes again.
Thanks, Monica.
See you later.
See ya.